PC to console, pretty good stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice little Discord integration. I'm not entirely sure why that's there, but hey, it's there. Great little party game. Excellent game to just just kind of like go crazy with your buddies and stuff like that.
Right.
We need more games like that. Honestly, we need more games that don't take themselves as seriously. Kind of help you take the load off. And Party Animals is a really good thing for that.
Yeah. Yeah, we had those back in the days when we get pissed off at Halo or DOA. We go to one of those calmer games and just relax and not really
Yeah,
give a damn. Yeah. Yeah, we definitely need one of those again. So yeah, party animals. So, I mean, I guess it depends on how you take party animals seriously. You might
I
take
mean,
that competitively or some crap too. I don't know.
I mean,
So
we did have this one guy who was raging as we were playing whatever the party animal equivalent to like football was, and dude was just angry at his team, just going off at the mouth, and we're just like, dude, come on, it's not that serious, just have
right,
fun with it. But you know,
right,
people are going to be competitive. It is what it is. You just got to roll that stuff off.
right. I don't know, man. It's ridiculous. So let's go ahead. I guess we can talk about this crazy news.
You know what? Let's talk about PlayStation first, because
Okay, all
PlayStation is
right.
actually going to lead right into this.
Right. Let's go ahead
So
and talk about PlayStation.
so first and foremost, we got a bit of a change in
Mm-hmm.
how PlayStation is going to is going to try to handle their uh their first party exclusives.
Right. They're
So
going third party. Say no.
so Hiroki Totoki, the
mm-hmm.
current head of PlayStation, the current CEO,
Mm-hmm.
he mentioned that they're kind of like not really hitting their targets
Mm-hmm.
regarding console sales,
Right.
and he's also seeing an opportunity to kind of increase the margins for the business,
Mm-hmm.
releasing games on PC or other
Mm-hmm.
platforms, as he put it.
Of course.
And this obviously this obviously culminated from uh, Helldivers. So Helldivers 2 saw a really good round of success
Mm-hmm.
in the on release day.
Gee, who
And
would figure a multiplayer game would do well?
who would have thought, right?
Yeah, we just put some thought in there, some nice, good gameplay mechanics, put some money behind it, and oh man.
Yeah, who'd have thunk it? So we're at a point now where Hiroki Totoki is like, yeah, you know what? We see potential
Mm-hmm.
in releasing games on PC, and Helldivers. It kind of went ham. If I'm going to be completely honest, like no one how far it was going to go. No one really saw like what kind of player base it was going to get. It's from Arrowhead Studios. It's
Mm-hmm.
not a first party PlayStation studio, but
No,
Sony
yeah,
does own the Helldivers IP.
yeah.
So for all intents and purposes, it is a first party exclusive. But
Eh,
they decided they want to take a chance. Let's
yeah.
release this game on Steam. The last entry was back in 2013, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it wasn't like a
First,
top-down game or something like that.
yeah. It was a
Okay.
top down isometric twin stick shooter,
Mm-hmm.
and that was released back in 2013. We now have the second edition of it, and they decided to take that chance. They decided, let's get this on PC
Mm-hmm.
on the same day as we release it on PlayStation. Let's see how it does.
All right.
Well, it's doing really good.
All right.
So on top of however many people bought it on PlayStation, we also have a crap ton of people buying it on Steam. It actually topped some of the top concurrent charts on
Mm-hmm.
Steam, and did really well for itself. And we're gonna get more into that in just a moment. But
Mm-hmm.
in the wake of this, Hiroki Totoki, they had their earnings call,
Mm-hmm.
and he said, there are opportunities for improvement of margins, so he'd like to go more aggressive in improving their margin performance.
Of course.
And what that ultimately means is, hey, we see a lot
You got to
of
branch out.
potential. Yeah, we got to branch out
You got to
because
branch out.
the console only strategy isn't exactly working because console performance has stagnated, and this is a problem that's happened since the PS2 days. If I'm being honest, no console has ever surpassed the PS2 in
Mm-hmm.
lifetime sales,
Yeah.
and it's It's probably not going to in this day and age. If I'm being completely
Nah, I
honest,
don't
they're
think
too.
that's it after that. PS2
No.
had reached that peak. The PS3 tried. It got close, I guess. Got pretty close, but then and then now you see the PS4 didn't get close to that either, and then the PS5 as well. You know, that's end of his lifespan, it seems. So.
Hmm. Right. So, and that was another thing he talked about before. But we have a quote here. In the past, we wanted to popularize console and first party titles. The main
Mm-hmm.
purpose was to make the console popular.
Right.
It is true, but there is a synergy to it. If you have strong first party content, not only with with our console, but other platforms like computers, first party can be grown with the multi platforms, and that can help operating profit to improve.
Mm-hmm.
So that is another one we want to practically work on. So ultimately, what this means is, if I'm being completely honest, hey, look, we can't do enough with just the PlayStation. And this is something that Microsoft had learned a while back with
Mm-hmm.
the Xbox. But see, Microsoft was in an interesting position with the Xbox in the sense of, hey, look, we're kind of actually behind
Mm-hmm.
Sony and Nintendo.
Right.
So in order for us to make up those margins, we have to make changes and
You
adaptations.
have to
And
grow.
this is
You have to
something
change. Mm-hmm.
right. And this is something you can afford to do when you're already kind of like behind the competition.
Mm-hmm.
So they had that ability to make those adjustments.
Mm-hmm.
Sony, on the other hand, they were top dog, pretty much like up there with Nintendo in
Mm-hmm.
regards to like console performance and stuff like that.
Right.
So for them, there kind of wasn't a need to make these kinds of adjustments, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
But now we're reaching a point where it's just like, no, 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 no. There's stagnation here. There is steady stagnation here, and we need to make a change.
See, if you're on the top for so long, it's like, why do you need to make a change, right?
Right.
Every year I'm making great games, getting great sales. All right, next year I'm doing the same thing, getting great sales. And this year after that, why would I change? Why would I change anything? I'm gonna keep this strategy going for as long as I can. Let's look at Apple for God's sakes. Look at their iPhone strategy. I'm just gonna
Hmm.
add one, two things, and clearly everything else still works. So people are gonna buy it. It's gonna do record number of sales. So why make a change? But but now it's 2024. As you can see, video game development costs what in hundreds of millions of dollars to make or whatever. Is time is going to change,
Hmm.
and just having just console sales it's not going to work. You do have to branch out. You do have to branch out on the PC. You do have to probably branch out to other platforms that are out there. You got the Switch, who has over what 100 million copies, 100 million systems. You got the PlayStation 5 with their 50 million. Then you got the Xbox Series with their what 30, 40 million or whatever systems out there. Then you got PC. You have PC, which is well over 200 million different, whatever amount of different PCs you can go on. Go ahead, I can put this one game, this one software on this, that, and this, and then people are going to buy it. That all that money goes into their pockets to go ahead and continue to fund for another game that they have or their developers. Let's go ahead and fund the people that's making that. You have
Hmm.
people who are making maybe 80K, 100K, 200K a year salary. These people got to get paid. They got to feed their family. And if the game is not doing well, what do you think is going to happen?
Right, and we kind of already see this happening in real time, at least on the PlayStation side of things. Because if
Mm.
you think games like MLB The Show, yes, it's an MLB licensed product, but it is still developed in house by PlayStation Studios. But then
MLB
that
was like, look, we're missing out on money on other platforms.
exactly, exactly,
That's cool, Sony. You got your little systems here, but there's a base over here, and I kind of want some of that. So let's go ahead and make this game for that platform
right,
or whatever. Let's
right,
go ahead and do that. Let's. I want that money. I want their pockets. So why not? All you got to
why
do is
not?
change a few codes, change a few things, get their little engine that you do to code for the Xbox systems. Okay, you do have to change a little bit for the Series S, and then boom, we're done. It's not
And
like you're
obviously,
redeveloping the whole game. So.
no. And obviously, a change like this is facilitated by an event that was, I guess you could say, unforeseen.
Hmm.
So let's get a little bit more into detail into that unforeseen event that kind of like just twisted Sony's wig a little bit in the sense of, oh my God, I cannot believe this happened.
Right.
So Helldivers 2 was the catalyst that caused this change,
Mm-hmm.
and the game has gone viral. I mean, like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's a PlayStation published game,
Mm-hmm.
and
It's doing
man,
good.
it's doing really good. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie. When I saw it on the state of play, I thought, you know what? This is the kind of game that I might actually see myself getting into. I
Mm-hmm.
might give it a shot. I still haven't pulled the trigger yet
Mm-hmm.
because I'm still just like, I don't know if I want to invest the 40 on it yet. Maybe
Yeah.
sometime,
And I think we
but
still have other, I guess, other games that we're still playing a lot. So
yes,
it's just
that's
added
very true.
on to our other multiple games that we playing. Because when we're playing Halo probably for like 2, 3 hours, and then
Mhm.
we're playing you're playing Street Fighter 6 for probably 2, 3 hours. I'm playing Tekken for about an hour or 2 hours, and then I'm also playing Halo for another 2, 3 hours straight. And then we have other obligations in our life or whatever. So then we have to joggle all of that. So I don't know. I mean, I'll pull the trigger too. I'll probably, not spend as much time in it, but I'll play it and support it or whatever the case may be. If it helps Sony get their games onto other platforms, then sure, I'll go ahead and support or whatever the case may be. Then sure, why not?
Why not?
40
So
bucks.
$40. It's not a crazy asking price,
No,
honestly.
no, it's not 70, $80 or some crap.
No, no. So here we are. Helldivers 2 player counts more than double launch weekend, 300K and climbing as the co-op shooter goes viral.
Mm-hmm.
So 330,000 concurrent players on Steam.
Mm-hmm. That's just Steam
That's
alone.
that's
Just
just Steam
Steam. It's
alone.
not even counting
Okay.
the PlayStation's console,
Right.
which could
Right.
be the same or less or more,
Or
but
more.
we don't know.
And we saw a similar thing like this with Power World, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, Power World came out of nowhere, indie developed game, completely blew the doors open on Steam. The
Mm-hmm.
difference though is that Microsoft was already like on that train of, hey, let's get more games on PC day and date. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
sure. So
Right.
Power World and Helldivers doesn't really affect them because they're already kind of ahead of the curve on that.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a wake up call to Sony and potentially Nintendo.
It's a Capcom
Nintendo,
test.
it is a Capcom. It is a
Mm-hmm.
Capcom
It's a
test.
test. Yeah.
If you're
Just
not
do
familiar with
well,
Capcom,
we'll do more. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
yeah,
explain that.
if you're not familiar with the Capcom test, so what Capcom does quite often is they'll release a game or a collection, more specifically,
Mm-hmm.
that says, "Hey, if this collection does well, then we'll think about investing resources into bringing this game back." So, for example, if you remember the Capcom fighting collection, it had a crap ton of Darkstalkers games, as
Mm-hmm.
well as some other arcade games that never got home console ports.
Mm-hmm.
That that collection was actually a Darkstalkers revival test behind the collection. It was
Mm-hmm.
like, hey, if this game does well, then clearly there's an interest in Darkstalkers, and we'll
Mm-hmm.
we'll try to invest in it.
Mm-hmm.
They've done these kinds of tests with Street Fighter.
Yep.
That's how we got Street Fighter 4. They tried these tests with Mega Man. That's why Mega Man Legends 3 got canceled, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so they've
Resident
done this kind
Evil,
of thing before.
Dead
Resident Evil.
Rising.
Yep.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, they're actually doing one right now. So if you
Yeah.
ever got that survey of which games you would want to
Mm-hmm.
see get new sequels,
Oh, you know I
please
did.
go fill out that survey.
You know
Okay.
I
I
did.
think they only give you like 3 different games that you can choose from,
Mm-hmm.
but please do that survey. Some of these
Mm-hmm.
games need to come back. All
Need
right.
to come back.
There's no reason why
Dino
they've been in the bag for
Crisis.
so long.
God. Onimusha. Power Stone. There's so many great games that Capcom have. And
Hmm.
now we're speaking our age when we're talking about Dino Crisis and Power Stone.
Right. There
But
hasn't been there hasn't been a new Power Stone game since the
it's in
Dreamcast. Okay.
Dreamcast. But it was an amazing game. What the last one was Power
Very
Stone
fun game.
2.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very fun game.
Yeah. Dino Crisis. I blew that thing up back in the PlayStation days. It was a great game, you know. Like I said, Unimusha. Hell, I rebought the old remake, well, I mean the remaster one, whatever you want to call it, on Steam.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, you damn right I bought it. It was $10. So sure, hell yeah. It helps you bring it back, a remake or something. I'll take a remake. I'll take a remake.
So and this just goes to show, hey, look, this is how important things like the Capcom test is. So
Mm-hmm.
going back to a game like Helldivers, Now we're in a situation where it's just like, okay, this game is doing really well on Steam
Mm-hmm.
and PlayStation. It's not cannibalizing sales. It's not going unnoticed.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously the heads at PlayStation are saying, well, we're gonna look more into bringing games to PC day and date.
Mm-hmm.
So from this perspective, what changes? Right. Let's talk about how this might change things going into the future. If
Mm-hmm.
you're on PlayStation, nothing for you actually changes here. It just means that more people have access to your game.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So if the next God of War comes out and it ends up being on PlayStation on PC, then as a PlayStation owner, nothing for you changes. You still
No.
get to enjoy that
Still
game.
get to play it.
People who have PCs, they get to play that game too.
That's right.
Same thing with Horizon Forbidden West. Like once that game hit PC, nothing changed on PlayStation,
No.
right? Same with Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
There was already a God of War game that hit PC,
Mm-hmm.
and they're gonna keep doing this. Before it was like, oh, we're gonna wait a year. Then it was we're gonna wait 6 months.
Yeah, for Horizon
Before you
Forbidden
know
West, the new one is already scheduled to come to PC.
it,
So
already. So
why the PlayStation people
only
not pissed off or whatever?
right. So it's only a matter of time before every first-party PlayStation game is gonna end up on PC at the same time as the PlayStation release. This
Mm-hmm.
is completely fine though. There's nothing wrong with that. And in fact, if you want to be honest with you, you should demand Sony and PlayStation to say, "Hey, look, if I buy this game on my PlayStation, I want to have access to it on PC.
Yeah,
Take your progress with you, take
that's
your
correct.
trophies with you,
That's correct.
and let that be a standard, right?
That's
Let
correct.
that be the standard of I can play this game wherever, no matter where I am. Now, granted, maybe I'm
Mm-hmm.
biased because Xbox is already doing that,
Mm-hmm.
and that's actually a pretty big thing that we're going to get into later.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, the success of Helldivers cannot be understated and it cannot be ignored.
No.
And PlayStation needs to really tap into this if
Mm-hmm.
they really want to grow their margins.
Exactly. Exactly. Go ahead and put it on other platforms. Go ahead and get that cut. It's just plain and simple. Anybody own a business, I won't want my business to be spread out as much as possible because I want all of those funds. I want all the monies, all of it. You know what I mean? So I'm not just going to put it. I think the days of exclusives are done, and it should be done.
They should be.
It should be done. Things change. Times change. If you don't move with the time, you will be left behind. Time waits for no man and no woman,
No.
no cat, no dog. It's not going to sit there and be like, okay, you know what, Maverick, we're going to sit here and we're going to wait for you. Go ahead. Keep doing what you're doing. We're going to wait for you. No, go ahead and just worry about your console sales only. We'll wait for you. No,
Nah,
doesn't work like that.
it'll never work out that way.
No.
It'll never work out that way.
Time has
Um,
changed. And then if we had the infrastructure then, it probably would have happened even sooner.
yeah.
I'm just going to be honest. But we didn't have the infrastructure then.
And since we're talking about exclusives, let's talk about some of the
We
some
were
of the
working.
history behind exclusives and what that actually meant for the player before versus
Hmm.
what they mean now. So back in the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis days, an exclusive meant, oh, we have our first party games. You get them here. You don't get them anywhere else.
Hmm.
And anything that's not in house or
Hmm.
like developed in house, then you might see on other consoles if the developer chooses to release those games on those platforms. Like for example, you wouldn't see Mario on Genesis. You wouldn't see Sonic on
Hmm.
Nintendo.
Hmm.
You wouldn't see Metroid on Genesis. You wouldn't see Golden Axe on Nintendo.
Hmm.
Okay, fine.
Hmm.
But then once we get outside of the major scope
Hmm.
of like what is first party and what isn't,
Hmm.
then you get into like the third party stuff.
Hmm.
The hey, we don't own these IPs. Where can we expect to see them? Well,
Hmm.
Spider Man was on both systems.
Hmm.
It was on Super Nintendo. It was on Sega Genesis.
Hmm.
Batman was on both systems. It was on Super Nintendo. It was on Genesis. Hell, it was even on the original Nintendo.
Hmm.
Now, same thing with like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Power Rangers. These games, they went across to multiple platforms, despite how big the names were.
Hmm.
But the difference was while the IPs may exist on each platform,
Hmm.
what may change is the actual game itself. So,
Right.
for example, with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighter.
Mm-hmm.
It released on both Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis, but each game was completely different. They looked different, they played different.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a thing. Um, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Hyperstone Heist, and Turtles in Time.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Super Nintendo got Turtles in Time. Genesis didn't, but Genesis
Mm-hmm.
did get Hyperstone Heist,
Mm-hmm.
which played similarly, but it didn't release to Super Nintendo.
Okay.
Um, Batman Returns on Super Nintendo was far different than it was on the Sega Genesis. But either
Mm-hmm.
way, the IP still made it over.
Mm-hmm.
Contrast that to what we have now, and we have $1 billion IPs
Mm-hmm.
that are being swooped up and being made exclusive for one particular console versus another. Like,
Mm-hmm.
obviously we got to talk about Spider-Man when we talk about that. We got to talk about the upcoming Indiana Jones that's going to exclusive to Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
And these are massive franchises with massive mass appeal,
Mm-hmm.
and they're just being made exclusive now.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, at this point, I feel now more than ever that I'm being punished for my console of choice
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to some of these IPs.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think about like Avengers, for example, Marvel's Avengers.
Yeah.
So Spider-Man was released on
Only
PlayStation,
on PlayStation. Yep.
only on PlayStation
Mm-hmm.
for for the arbitrary reason of, oh, we have the Marvel Spider-Man game on our console, so we're not gonna allow this to be released on Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
That was horrible
Right.
because
Which they could have.
while they could have,
Mm-hmm.
and kudos to Crystal Dynamics to be able to stand up and say, hey, look, we didn't envision this game as a game of inequality in a sense of, oh, this platform has it, this platform doesn't. So we're going to give the platform that does have it all the content, and the platform that doesn't have it, none of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, they didn't really go too hard and like doing a whole story episode for Spider-Man like they did some of the other heroes like Black
Mm-hmm.
Panther and Kate Bishop.
Yeah, yeah.
But
You just pretty
but
much got
even
the
still,
character and the fight moves, and that's
exactly,
pretty much it.
exactly.
Yeah, you didn't get a
But
whole story out of them.
But even still, it's like that kind of feeling of, oh, hey, I chose to have an Xbox for my own reasons. Now all
Mm-hmm.
of a sudden I'm missing massive IP,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I get it. On one hand, it's like, oh, sure, well, these kinds of exclusives will generate interest in the console.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, again, we're not talking about like, experiences that were crafted in-house by in-house studios.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about established IPs from established developers that are not owned by the platform owner,
Mm-hmm.
that are, making deals, or someone's approaching them and saying, "Hey, look, bring your game to us. We'll
Mm-hmm.
pay for some of it. Just don't release it to the other console."
Right.
So when I look at things like Final Fantasy, I'm not exactly a Final Fantasy gamer, but this is a very notorious example. Final Fantasy 16 only on PlayStation for the time being.
Mm-hmm.
Final Fantasy 7 remake is only on PlayStation. It's coming to Epic eventually, but
I think
as far as we know,
the first two are on Epic now, and was it
right,
Integra? But yeah, now we don't know if
integrated.
Rebirth would come eventually or
Right.
not. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So then, if you're an Xbox gamer, you only have a console. You don't have the play games on your PC.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have the situation of, well, shoot, I have this Xbox. I want to play Final Fantasy, but there's no indication that is actually coming. I mean,
Right.
if you live on Twitter, you might see rumors and leaks, but none of that stuff has been confirmed.
Right.
So at this point, it's safe to say you're not getting it for the time being. Wait for
Mm-hmm.
an official confirmation.
Exactly.
But
I would have to
that's
go
kind of the
spend $400 or $500 on that
four or five
console
hundred
to get
dollars
it. Yeah.
for one game,
Mm-hmm.
not a worthwhile investment.
Right.
So that's kind of the state of affairs that we're in when it comes to exclusives. Very, very punishing if you're someone who enjoys a wide variety of things.
You enjoy the wide variety things, and you probably can't afford to purchase another console at the time or whatever. Now, I mean, me personally, I'm fortunate enough to have multiple consoles or whatever, but the next person don't. You see what I'm saying? So they could probably only can afford one or still have the older systems. So they probably couldn't get the Series S or Series X or the next PlayStation or whatever the case may be. But if you limit these exclusives and just have it where you have this game on whatever platform, then you don't have to. Like, I ain't gotta play a get. Buy this and buy that. I could just get this one console or whatever and play all these beautiful games that all these people create. You got these beautiful minds creating these games that take years and time to make. But I don't want to sit here and buy, another console just for that. Somebody can't afford that. Somebody can afford that. Maybe they don't want to spend that money on that. You know what I mean? That's $400 or $500 is a lot nowadays.
Yeah.
Especially with everything going up and crap like that. You know what I mean? The $400 or $500 can be a lot. So maybe somebody can afford it, but I don't feel like dropping $500 right now.
And then let's talk about the cost on the other side of the equation. We got to talk
Mm-hmm.
about on the developer publisher side. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're an independent publisher, and when I say independent, I mean kind of like outside of the purview of Microsoft, Sony, Embracer, Take Two,
Mm-hmm.
and you're trying to get your game out to multiple people, you don't want to have a console exclusive situation because
No.
depending on what platform you choose to go with,
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to reach a whole lot of people.
No.
I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
like anything that releases on a Switch only is only going to have the Switch audience. There is no
That's it.
middle ground there.
Mm-mm.
It's only Switch,
Only
right?
Switch.
So you better hope that Switch community really likes what you're putting on there
And not
because it's
everybody
not
who
going to
owns
be
a
anything
Switch is going
else.
to buy it. Yeah.
Right?
So
Exactly.
yeah, you may have sold 100 million Switch systems. You're probably going to get maybe 5, 10, 12, 20 million. Well, again, it all depends on how good that game is. I mean, we all know Pokemon is going to sell. But then,
Right.
what about a third party game? Go ahead and make your game for the Switch, and they're going to try to tap into that 100 million. Guess what? You're not really a known game, so you're probably not going to get that much sales on the Switch or whatever, unless you do very heavy marketing and it's just the commercials are freaking great. Like, yeah, I want the heck out of this game. But if not, you're not going to get Pokemon numbers. You're not going to get Super Mario Brothers Wonder numbers and stuff like that. Those games sell, but a lot of third party games really don't. So not everybody's going to buy a game on the Xbox. If it's 30 million people, you're probably going to get maybe five, if that, or maybe 10. Again, all depends on the game. 50 million PlayStation 5 consoles. Not everybody's going to buy Spider Man 2. Clearly, only 10 million was sold. So that's 40 million PS5s that didn't play it.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
just let's go ahead and put it on all these other platforms so just everybody else can just enjoy and call it that. I'm sick of, me personally, I'm sick of this exclusive stuff. So
Hmm.
let's go ahead and let's start winding down on that. But again, that's just me. Possibly
No,
you. I know
no,
other people don't want to hear that.
no, I definitely agree. Like there's two
Whatever.
different angles of this. There's two
Hmm.
different angles of the whole exclusive conversation because
Hmm.
on one end it's like, okay, well the exclusives are what sell the platform or what sell you into the ecosystem.
Hmm.
There's
Hmm.
a valid argument for that in the
Hmm.
sense of, I mean, well, just like where we are now. If it was games like Halo,
Hmm.
we wouldn't have Xboxes
Yeah.
more than likely.
More than
I
likely.
mean,
Hmm.
the
Back then.
console features sold me as well as Halo, as
Yeah.
well as Dead or Alive 3, but you know,
Because we've been in the
Halo
Xbox
largely
ecosystem since OG,
since day
like
one.
since day
Since day
one.
one. Yeah.
You know what I mean? When we had CDs or we burned our music on and burned it onto the Xbox hard drive and played our
Yeah.
games. What was it? The football game, and we did
Uh
touchdowns with our custom music.
that was that 2K? I think
Yeah,
it
yeah, I
was
think that was 2K.
Yeah.
And then we did custom soundtrack games. And then we was pissed if the game didn't have custom soundtrack. Remember that?
It's
Yeah, we was
true.
like, God
Yeah.
damn it, it didn't have custom soundtrack, whatever. What was it? WWE Raw, that wrestling
Yeah,
game.
Raw 2 with the custom music for
Yeah,
the
with the custom
introduction.
music. The game
Yes.
probably wasn't as good, but we had custom Titantron. I could use my own music. Hell yeah. That was great.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was
That was
great.
that was a fun time.
You know what I
That was definitely a
mean?
fun time. Death Row was another one
Death
that made
Row.
use custom
Right.
background music.
It was fun. We burnt a lot of music onto that hard drive. Shit, we had hundreds of music on that thing. It was fun.
But
Fun time.
but but even then, so think about the games that we just listed.
Mm-hmm.
Raw 2 was only on the Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
Death
Mm-hmm.
Row was only on the Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
Um NFL 2K was only on the Xbox,
Mm-hmm.
as far as I know anyway. So these are exclusives. These are the games that will get you gravitating towards that console. I
Right.
get that.
Right.
But we're not in a situation now where the console is the main target and then the games are tucked into that console. No,
Mm-hmm.
the games are what brings you to the ecosystem itself.
Mm-hmm.
So it's up to the ecosystem to kind of like build itself up in a way that really allows those games to thrive with the features that it has built in.
All right.
So speaking on that, let's turn to the major topic of tonight with the time that we have remaining,
Mm-hmm.
and let's talk about the Xbox business update.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
they held the
Oof.
podcast on Thursday,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But this podcast was not originally planned.
No.
This was not the update that they planned to give. This is probably not the update that they wanted to give.
No.
And what I mean by that is their hand was forced.
Mm-hmm.
Their hand was forced because there was a whole bunch of rumors and leaks that was
Rumors.
circulating around on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not calling it that other word. Um, it was a large amount of rumors that were circling around Twitter. It got completely blown out of proportion. People are overreacting, and
Mm-hmm.
then the one thing that was the worst possible scenario happened, which was the media outlets started picking it up
Yeah.
and reporting on it.
Yeah.
Now it's out there. Now the general populace can see,
Mm-hmm.
oh, these rumors are happening. Oh, Starfield is going to PlayStation. Halo is going to PlayStation. Gears is going to PlayStation.
Years.
The whole
Now they
fleet of
starting.
games,
Yeah, they start naming just random shit now. Random
just
Xbox
random
games.
stuff. It started with Hi-Fi Rush, then it
Mm-hmm.
became Sea of Thieves, then it was the
Mm-hmm.
whole damn slate. Like Xbox is going full third party,
Right.
the whole 9 yards.
Mm-hmm.
All that stuff culminated into media outlets reporting on it. It all started with Xbox era talking about their leaks and insiders,
Right.
and then now we had to have an official response. So good
You
job,
got to.
guys. You set the building on fire, and now the big dogs had to come out and address it.
All with rumors and leaks and nothing that was confirmed
Nothing
or
confirmed.
your fact check or nothing. Back in the day when I used to say something, I had to show proof of it. You know what I mean? Proof or whatever the freak happened or whatever. You know, doctor's notes and stuff. Oh, I was sick, boss. You know what I mean? I couldn't come in. They'd be like, cat. I mean, they didn't say cat back then, of course, but still, you know what I mean? You bring in your doctor's note and stuff like that. It is proof that I was sick. Whatever the case is, you have facts. Come with proof. Don't just say something and you don't have nothing to stand on. It's
Mm-hmm.
stupid. That is the stupidest thing I don't ever heard. I'm just gonna come up with random shit, and then I'm just gonna say, "Oh, it's gonna happen." But where'd you hear it from? Who?
Well, my sources.
Your sources? Trust me, bro.
Trust me, bro.
That's your
Just trust
sources.
me.
Trust me. I know things. Trust me.
Don't worry. I'm on the inside, bro. Don't
Trust
worry
me.
about it.
I'm
I'm giving you the
smart.
information as I'm getting it.
I'm trust.
You can trust me.
I'm
Have a seat,
I'm
strong,
getting
strong
I'm getting the
man.
information right now. You hear that? Like, get out of here. Give
So
me facts. If you came here with facts, you came here with proof and something that I just can't say shit about. Like, you know what? When you're right, you're right. But until you get that, no, it's rumors. Rumors.
I'm not gonna take it. I'm not
I'm
gonna
not
take it
gonna
at
I'm
face
not gonna
value.
take it as nothing. I don't care what website says. I don't care what person says. I don't care how big you said it. I don't care how many followers you have. You need to, just because you have 100,000 followers or 80 something thousand followers doesn't make you right because you said something.
Mm-hmm.
No, no, it doesn't.
And we heard it from people that were saying it with such confidence in the
Such
sense of,
confidence.
oh, we know Starfield is going to PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we know that, yeah, there's going to be two titles that are going over, and there's going to be one big one that everyone is going to be
Mm-hmm.
completely shocked by. The internet's going to be on fire.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to come out. So Phil Spencer, Sarah Bond, Matt Booty, they held this podcast
Mm-hmm.
and they started talking about, hey, what's going on at Xbox? What is, what's happening? What might be changing? What's not changing? So ultimately, the situation as we have it is the big ticket item is 4 games are going over to PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't say which ones, but they did mention that 2 games were going to be community-driven live service games. Two
Mm-hmm.
games are going to be smaller games that were never intended to be platform-defining games, and
Mm-hmm.
they probably were never intended to be an Xbox exclusive to begin with.
Right.
So they're going to go over to PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the reasoning behind why they decided to go with the 2 community games was, hey, look, oh, the these games have reached their kind of like their zenith
Mm-hmm.
on the Xbox platform between Xbox and PC. They're not really getting that many more players. They've
Mm-hmm.
already been around for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can extend the reach of these games to other platforms, then these communities can continue to build. They can continue to grow, and
Mm-hmm.
then the game itself will thrive.
Right.
So when we talk about what games those might be, heavy speculation points to it being Sea of Thieves and Grounded.
Mm-hmm.
As a Sea of Thieves player, I'm completely okay with PlayStation and Switch getting Sea
It's
of
more people
Thieves.
we can sink.
More people we can sink, more people we can steal
We
from,
can
more
steal
people
from,
we
more
can have
people we can
shenanigans with and
group
have a good
with.
time.
Exactly.
Yeah,
This is a community
yeah,
game. Those a game. That's a game that requires other people to play. You know what I
right.
mean? To enjoy with or go against. So the more
Hmm.
people you have, the more time that lifespan that game can be. I mean, if you look at Marvel's Avengers, if it's nobody playing it, it's gonna go bye bye.
Right. Yeah,
That's it.
and that's exactly what happened with Marvel's Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
People stopped playing it. The game wasn't being held up properly. So
Mm-mm.
once the player base dropped to a certain point, they were like, "Look, we got to pull the plug.
Yeah.
We can't keep doing this. We're
Can't
bleeding
put.
money
Can't
on
keep
this
doing it.
project."
Mm-hmm.
So I'm completely fine with Sea of Thieves going over. It's been around for like 5 6 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's a great game. It just dropped with season 11. It's a great time to actually get into the game
Right.
if you haven't already played it. And it's gonna be the same old thing. Like, yeah, we'll have it on Game Pass. They're gonna have to buy it piecemeal, so it'll probably be like 30, maybe $40 on PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
And if players are willing to make that investment and join the seas, we'll welcome them. Absolutely, we might give them some hell first, but we'll welcome them. But so those were the two community driven games. Again, no actual confirmations as of yet whether it's Sea of Thieves or not, or Grounded. There are going to be announcements that are coming. You've probably seen some of the stuff on Twitter, like the Sea of Thieves Twitter account had made a Valentine's Day post about rowboats, sometimes being red, sometimes being blue. Maybe they're white,
Mm-hmm.
oftentimes they're green.
Right.
People have read between the lines and say, okay, it's going to Switch and it's going to PlayStation. Or at the very least, it's going to PlayStation. We'll see. I'm not gonna say one way or another. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea,
Mm-hmm.
and speculation and rumors are just speculation and rumors
Just
until they're
just rumors.
confirmed.
That's right. Until it comes from the
So
horse's mouth, there's nothing but rumors.
nothing but rumors.
You know what I mean?
And
It's
then the
just he say, she say at that point.
and then the two smaller games are heavily speculated to be Pentiment
Mm-hmm.
and God, what was the other one? It was
So you
Pentiment,
said Grounded, Pentiment, Hi-Fi Rush, and Sea
Hi-Fi
of
Rush. That
Thieves.
was it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That was the other one. So again,
No,
Hi-Fi
and
Rush.
those are just speculations, also.
Those are their speculations
Mm-hmm.
as well. Tango Gameworks is traditionally a Japanese company, and Hi-Fi Rush released Xbox and PC, which means they completely missed the Japanese market.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of people that could have experienced that game, but just didn't because people in Japan just don't have Xboxes. I
Yeah.
don't know about the PC situation there. I mean, I'm told that. Well, I'm told. I've read
Mm-hmm.
that PC Game Pass in Japan has had exponential growth rates. So I would imagine that people in Japan have had the ability to play Hi-Fi Rush.
Mm-hmm.
But if it drops on Switch in Japan, that's a huge player base that you can tap
Oh
into.
yeah. Oh yeah. Huge,
Huge, huge.
huge player
Because
base that you can get.
no console tops anything in Japan like the Switch does.
Mm-hmm.
Japan is
Huge
mostly
player
handheld
base.
anyway. They're mostly mobile
Yeah,
gamers.
when they had the DS and all the other stuff, it was hundreds
Yeah.
of millions of those systems or so. The DS and portable for Nintendo is easily
Yeah.
captive in Japan. It's just done.
Yeah, it's just done.
Anything Nintendo makes that's portable is
Yeah.
gonna get sold quick.
And they doubled down on that with the Switch, and it was the right
Mm-hmm.
move to make.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's Hi-Fi Rush. Again, it just hit its 1 year anniversary, if I'm not mistaken, or it's about to hit its 1 year anniversary. They'll
Mm-hmm.
probably make the announcement when the official anniversary hits.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as Pentiment goes, I'm not going to be too upset about it. Pentiment is one of those games where if you haven't already played it, you're not going to play
You're
it.
probably not gonna play it.
At,
But see,
so at this point, just extend it.
but see, here's the thing. It's not gonna affect us. It's not gonna
Not
affect
at all.
us at
Not at
all.
all.
Now we majority play on PC, and we can still play it on there. But people who owns an
It's not going to Game
Xbox,
Pass.
what is the game doing on another platform? How is that gonna hurt you? I don't. I don't get that.
I don't get
How
it.
does it hurt you? So
It's not coming off a Game Pass. It's not going to be made unavailable
yeah,
on Xbox. How does this hurt you?
you're gonna yell at your wife or husband. God damn it, honey, that game went to PlayStation. I'm stupid, it's dumb. Like I'm pissed the fuck off. Huh?
Yeah, the overreaction
What is it
has
gonna
been
do? It's not going to
ridiculous.
your pockets. It's not taken away from your pockets. I mean,
In fact, the opposite is happening. The opposite would
right,
happen. So
right.
instead of being money being taken out of your pockets, what's going to end up happening is more Xbox's pockets to
Mm-hmm.
then make more games
Mm-hmm.
that you might play or have an interest in.
Right.
So this is this update was called the business update for
Mm-hmm.
a reason. They
Mm-hmm.
tackled these questions from the business perspective. They're
Right.
not talking about, this is just what gamers want. This is just what gamers want to hear. No, 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 no. How do these decisions make sense from a business aspect? Because at the end of the day, gaming is a business, and the companies that have these platforms, that run these platforms,
Mm-hmm.
they are businesses. They
Yep.
have to be run as businesses. And
Mm-hmm.
what's the major responsibility of a business? Make money.
Make that moolah.
If you don't make money, you struggle. When you struggle, here's what happens: layoffs,
Layoffs. If you
closures.
don't closures. If you don't make money at a restaurant, what you think is going to happen? Your business is going to close.
Those doors are going to shutter.
Doors are going to shutter.
There's no avoiding it. There's no avoiding it. So
No company survives without money. No person, nobody on this planet Earth can survive without money.
in some way, shape, or
In
form,
some,
that's
in some,
absolutely true.
listen, some form of currency. Let's say that. You know what I mean? You need some kind of currency to survive. Food, rent, roof over your head, business, survival. You know what I mean? So if I make a video game and it doesn't sell, all right, I go ahead and make another video game, it doesn't sell, all right, I make a third one that doesn't sell. You know what? Fuck it. I'm either gonna get out of the business or I'm gonna cut the company smaller because I'm paying clearly too much employees or whatever the case may be for three unsuccessful games. I'm just throwing an example here, and you know what I mean. It's not gonna. The company's not gonna succeed. You know, look at that. Look at that game, that Immortals of Avon or something like that.
Avium, yeah,
Avium.
Immortals of Avium.
The game didn't sell.
No,
That was the
nobody
studio's
bought it.
first game. That was the studio's first game.
$125 million went into that
One
game,
hundred
and
twenty-five
nobody
million
bought it.
dollars. After it didn't sell, layoffs.
Yep, and that's just the nature of the beast.
That's
That is
just
the
the nature
nature
of
of
the
the beast.
beast. You have to make money. If it's not making money, it's not making sense. Sorry.
Said it best. Said it best in the '90s. It is what it is. So that was the big ticket news of the update. It was mainly the four games. The two games that were absolutely confirmed as not going over was Starfield and Indiana Jones, and
hmm
that was a heavy topic of the rumors as well.
hmm
But The Verge had an interview with Phil Spencer where they did touch on this question. It was like, hey, look, can you rule out the possibility of Starfield or Indiana Jones going over to PlayStation? And Phil Spencer's answer was, as in gaming, as a gaming industry, we should never rule out the possibility of a game going over to other platforms.
hmm
Now, one, that's been completely twisted and misconstrued into, oh, it may be not now,
hmm
but it's gonna be later.
Right.
PS5 will get Starfield later. That's not what he said.
No,
That's not what he said.
it's not what he
All right,
said.
stop it.
That is not
So,
what he said.
and granted, there is a case to be made where Phil Spencer said, "Hey, look, these four games are going over now, but we're going to learn from this process. We're going to see how they do. We're going to learn from changes, but this is, for all intents and purposes, a learning process."
hmm
So that's the whole thing. Like, no one ever speaks in absolutes because you would be foolish to do so.
Right.
You would be an idiot to say, "Oh yeah, this is absolutely how it's going to be. It's never going to change."
hmm
No, you'd be dumb. You would be dumb to do something like that. So that was the big ticket item. Again, like you had said, for us, nothing changes. I'm
Nothing
still gonna play
changes.
Starfield. I'm still gonna play
Still
Sea of
playing it.
Thieves.
Still playing it. We just have more people in the seats now. If it does go to the other
If it does end up
platforms.
being Sea of
hmm
Thieves. So then, questions were also brought up about exclusives and where we might be. Phil Spencer said, in the next 5 or 10 years, exclusive games that are exclusive to one piece of hardware, are going to be a smaller and smaller part of the industry. the biggest games in the world are not exclusive games. Games like Minecraft, Call of Duty, which is true.
Mm-hmm.
Call of Duty tops charts everywhere it's ever appeared.
Yeah.
Minecraft is the most played game on the planet. So
Yeah.
those aren't exclusive games. Yeah, they're owned by Microsoft now, but even before they were owned by Microsoft, they were still the biggest games in the world, and they still top those charts. So, you know, going forward is going to be more about, hey, let's get the games in the hands of Square Enix when they had their kind of like their earnings call talking about Final Fantasy 16. They say,
Mm-hmm.
hey, look, just focusing on the Japanese market and focusing on PlayStation only hurt the performance of the game,
Right.
which I'm not surprised by.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not surprised by that one bit. Um,
If it's not making money, it's not making
not
sense.
making
I'm
sense.
sorry. I'm sorry.
So, so we're running out of time here, so I'm just gonna kind of like rapid fire a lot of these other points.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so Matt Booty said, it used to be the platform that was the biggest thing, and games are kind of tucked into the platform. These games we're seeing games like Roblox and Fortnite being bigger than any one platform, which is
Mm-hmm.
true. They have like fully built-in experiences in those games. Like you turn on Fortnite to play
Mm-hmm.
other games.
Yeah.
Same thing with Roblox. You turn on Roblox to play other games
To
that were
play the
built
games, yeah,
in
yeah, because
Roblox.
you can create multiple other anything in those kind of games.
Anything.
Use your imagination to create games. So yeah, heck yeah. That's I'm not gonna put that on one system. That's stupid.
No. So then they talked about the core principles of kind of like Xbox, the relationship between Xbox and games. And Matt Booty has said that there's three core principles. One, all of their games will be on the Xbox platform. Two, all of their games will be on Game Pass day one. And three, Game Pass will only be on Xbox.
No.
So no surprises there. He mentioned that there are going to be 10 items releasing this year. I'm not sure if that's just games or if that's games and expansions.
Yeah, I
As
don't. Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know if it could be expansions, updates, major updates. I do know what Flight Simulator still got his big update coming
Flight
out.
Simulator's got an update coming out.
So I don't.
Diablo 4 has an expansion coming out
Mm-hmm.
that was being mentioned. Um, Obviously, we still have the games that were shown at the developer direct.
Mm-hmm.
Avowed, Our History Untold,
Mm-hmm.
Indiana Jones, Hellblade: Senua's Saga 2. We have those games on the line. Um, Speaking of Diablo, actually, Diablo 4 is going to be going to Game Pass March 8th. So if you haven't checked out Diablo 4, you've been on the fence about it. Well, next month you'll be able to play it as part of your Game Pass subscription. So
That's right.
good job.
That's right.
Sarah Bond mentioned that we have 34 million Game Pass subscribers. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
people were concerned about the fact that they weren't announcing how many people are actually subscribed to Game Pass. Now
Mm-hmm.
you have a number. So the
Yeah.
last time you mentioned that, I think it was a couple of years ago, I believe it was 25 million.
Mm-hmm.
So now they're up to 34 million.
Right.
So that's pretty good growth.
Still pretty good.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
for the people who were concerned about Xbox's hardware strategy going forward, Phil Spencer mentioned that hardware is a critical component. The
Mm-hmm.
absolute best experience someone can have on Xbox is hardware that Sarah Bond's team builds.
Mm-hmm.
So the Xbox will always be the flagship experience, but the
Mm-hmm.
difference is you'll still be able to have a similar experience on other
No,
platforms.
yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
what that means is, yeah, if you want the core foundational Xbox experience, you do that on the Xbox console. But if you just want to play Xbox games, you can do that anywhere. You can do that
Right.
on your PC, on the cloud, mobile, whatever the case may be.
Exactly. And
Um,
I have multiple devices that I can play Xbox on, so I'm
right.
fine.
Um,
I'm good.
and one of the really big things was kind of like addressing the state of the industry and how things have changed and how do you go about doing things going
Mm-hmm.
forward. And obviously the games industry has kind of struggled to grow, and
Mm-hmm.
as a result of its inability to grow, there were layoffs as a result of that, and studio closures.
Mm-hmm.
So there's two different ways that you can grow in the industry, according to Phil Spencer. And the two ways are: do you take the current fixed number of users that you have and try to monetize them more out of them,
No.
or do you expand your business, try to reach more players, try to reach new players? And their focus with Xbox for the past decade or so has been focused on the latter point of growing. Sarah Bond mentioned that they know that the strategy is working because they're at the highest level of users on console, highest level of users on PC, and the highest level of users on cloud that they've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
They have double-digit growth on PC and cloud.
Yep.
and they're enabling creators to reach players that they never would have been able to reach as a result of these initiatives. So they're leaning more into that, which no surprises there. We've been part of the Xbox ecosystem to know that this is exactly what they've been doing, and they're going to continue to do that.
Continue to do it.
Um,
So I'm still gonna play it on PC. I'm still gonna play it on cloud. I'm still gonna play it on my Rogue Ally. I'm still gonna play on the Xbox console. I have the Xbox console in my living room, the Series X. I have the Series S behind me. I have my gaming PC right here, which we're all on. I have my Rogue Ally right here that I can also put Xbox games on there. It's not hurting me. They actually giving me more ways of playing the game. So I mean, I don't know why is that's an issue, but again, like I said earlier, we didn't have that infrastructure back then. We didn't have
no,
the internet speeds. We didn't have 5G. Hell, we didn't even have 4G back in the 1900s and early 2000s. Then we started to get 4G, but 4G is not fast enough. Then you got 5G. 5G just started off. Wasn't quite there yet. Now 5G has, matured, and now more providers got it. More providers are making it more, uh, spread out, more available to everybody and to people's homes now. You can have 5G internet or whatever from T-Mobile and Verizon and stuff, Verizon Home and all this other stuff. So now we have the infrastructure. We got cloud, we got AWS, we got Google Cloud. Can be able to hold these people and to play these games via cloud and stuff. We wouldn't dream doing that in
no.
2005. That was I look at you like you're a fucking psycho if you said that to me back then.
Mhm.
Like, no. But now we have the infrastructure that can do it. We have the power, we have the tools to do that.
Yep. And then the last couple of points here was that there's gonna be some new stuff coming from the hardware teams this holiday. So we're gonna be seeing possibly that leaked console that we saw from the FCC leaks, possibly the
Hmm.
controller. We'll have to wait and see.
Hmm.
But then Sarah Bond also mentioned that they're already invested in the next generation, and they already have an internal roadmap,
Yes.
and they're looking for it to be the largest technological leap in any
Give
hardware
me all
generation
that.
ever.
I want all of
Yeah,
that.
whatever that means, give me.
Give me.
Whatever that means, give me.
I,
Straight up.
I love I want the best of the best. If it's not the best, it stays with the rest. That's just what I say. So I get the best graphical card that I can possibly afford at the time, or whatever. I want all that. So if you telling me this is going to be the most technical leap in history or whatever, I want that. Yes, my mouth drooled when she said that. Like, give me all of that.
So, so where does that leave us? Well, that leaves us with the fact that all the people who were dooming and glooming on Twitter, and all the people who were saying Xbox is going third party, well, a lot of them have egg on their face now because
Mm-hmm.
none of it came to pass.
None.
The only thing that came close to coming to pass was that four games are going to go over, and it wasn't anywhere
Literally the only
near.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And it wasn't the four games that they suggested it was going to be. So now people are dooming and glooming, saying, "Oh, it's not going to be just four games." Well, we'll see. No one knows yet. We'll see. But either way, you know, there's three different sides to this, and I just want to make this quick point before we kind of like conclude this. If you're if you're in the Twitterverse and you stay there every day, then a lot of this meant something to you because this was all you saw on Twitter. If you have any interest in Xbox or in PlayStation, this was all you saw for like the last month of just rumors and speculation. This game is going over here. This game is going over there. It was filled with it. So if you live on Twitter, this mattered to you. But my advice to you is get off of Twitter.
Yeah,
stay away
for real.
stay away from Twitter because clearly they'll sell you up the creek with no paddle. So be careful what you see. Don't believe everything you read online, as we saw with one of the Xbox influencers. Don't believe anything until it's actually
Don't.
confirmed. Rumors and speculations remain rumors and speculation until they're confirmed.
Confirmed
If
from
they're
the
not
horse's
confirmed,
mouth.
throw them
Hmm.
out.
Yeah.
And then lastly, if you're an Xbox gamer, nothing changes for you. Like
Nothing.
if you're a PC, if you're an Xbox PC gamer, nothing changes for you.
Nothing.
If you're an Xbox console gamer, nothing changes for you.
Nothing.
If you're a PlayStation console gamer, you might be getting 4 games. We don't know which ones or where they're going, so
Mm-hmm.
don't hold your breath on that one. Wait for
Mm-hmm.
the official confirmation.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a Nintendo gamer, same thing. 4 games might be coming. We don't know which ones.
Don't know.
So hold your horses until you get official.
And even if their games come to other platforms, nothing changes for the actual consumer. It's actually better for the consumer. Now the company may not get a console sale because it's going on another platform, but they're getting what 70 or 80% of that cut of that software.
Right.
Software sells.
Right.
Software sells. Software has a better reachability than any hardware or whatever. Look what Office did. Office was just a disc, and then now you can just purchase it anywhere online
Anywhere.
for
Yeah,
for
that's fine
subscription
for
based.
personal license.
Yeah, $100 for the license you get for a whole year or whatever the case may be. Just an easy subscription service, and Office just shot up once they moved it to a subscription based service instead of going ahead and getting a disc. And one, you don't even have freaking discs on computers anymore. If you do, you're probably older
No.
than us.
My current rig doesn't even have a CD drive.
Right.
But
So
any last things you want to say before we get out of here? We're kind of running over.
no, just pretty much everything that you said. It's not hurting you. If you have an Xbox, keep it, enjoy the games that's on there. This is hell of great games that's on that system, and like I said, we've been playing it for well over 20 years. Xbox is an amazing console with amazing features on there. PlayStation, hell, I had a PlayStation 1, 2, and 3, and I didn't get a 4, but I have a PlayStation 5, and it's sitting right behind me right now. Give me games to play on, and I'll play it. That's as simple as that.
That's
I'm gonna buy Stellar Blade, and I hope I enjoy it. I might enjoy it, but I'm gonna buy it. You see what I'm saying? So that's a game that I'm interested in. If it's a game I'm interested in, I'm gonna play it. I have a Switch. There's games that I was interested in Switch. I bought it. Enjoy it. I enjoy the Switch. It's not gonna hurt you if your other games are on these other platforms. As a consumer, it's not going to hurt you. Phil
yeah,
Spencer did an amazing job bringing Xbox
from the brink.
death, from the brink of death. Phil Spencer's an amazing person. He's an incredible guy. He he saved the Xbox. He's a
Literally,
gamer. You know what I
they
mean?
were having conversations of, do we kill this off or do we invest more into it? And
Exactly.
he managed to get Microsoft to a point where they had to acknowledge Xbox as the third best profiting business within Microsoft. It's topping Windows, and that speaks volumes. Um, so I guess the major point I would add on to that, and then
Hmm.
we'll get out of here, is be a video games enjoyer. Don't be a console warrior.
No,
Nothing benefits you for being a console warrior.
just play games.
You know, play games. Just
That's
play
all you got to
games.
do.
I'm gonna go play games right now.
Yes.
I encourage you to do the same.
Let's go play games.
But
Oh, before that, if you want to talk about video games, show us play video games. Let's see your gamer tag. Let's see your PSN. Let's see your Nintendo Online. I don't want to hear nobody who is not a gamer. If you're not a gamer, yeah, I mean, if you're a game, if you claim you're a gamer or whatever, a game influencer, let's say that, and then you don't play games, how the heck are you
farm,
influence somebody if you don't play video games or whatever?
yeah, you're just farming
You're
engagement.
just farming
That's
engagement at
what you're
this
doing.
time. You know, I have well over 200 games on Steam, 300 games on freaking Xbox. I think I got like 10 games on PlayStation. Again, that's my least played system. I got about 10 games on Switch. You know, play video games, dude. That's it. But whatever.
That's it.
Let's
But
go play
either
some
way,
games.
let's go play some games. Thank you all for checking out the episode.
Appreciate
We're gonna
y'all.
be back next week, same time, same place. So we hope to see you there.
Hmm.
But until then, take it easy.
Later, y'all.